Since the earliest days of humanity, we've shared warnings about the dark, stories to keep us safe from what we couldn't see and couldn't understand. Tonight, we're going to trace the forgotten shadow of one of the oldest fears still alive today, the Boogeyman. If you enjoy these deep dives into the darker corners of history and folklore, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Char TV, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's still waiting in the dark. The Boogeyman is not a myth confined to any one country, religion, or era. He is a shadow stitched into the very fabric of human fear. Every culture, every generation has shaped his form differently, but the purpose remains unchanged. He is the embodiment of consequences for the disobedient, the reckless, the curious. A figure built not for entertainment but for survival. The roots of the name in the English-speaking world lie in the Middle English word bug, meaning a terrifying spectre. The bugbear too grew from the same soil, an imaginary creature invented to scare those who strayed from the accepted path. Yet to limit the Boogeyman to English folklore would be a mistake. His shadow falls across continents. His legend is a collective memory, passed down through warnings rather than written words. In medieval England, the bogey was not an individual monster with a clear face. It was a shapeless force that waited in the mist, in the unlit streets beyond the candlelight. Parents warned their children not to wander too far, lest the bogey find them. In Scotland, similar tales spoke of the bogle, a spirit lurking in the coastal fogs, dragging the careless into the sea. Even in countries where the word boogeyman did not exist, the concept was alive and thriving. Spain and Latin America developed the tale of El Cucuy, a small, deformed figure capable of hiding in closets, under beds, or in dark alleyways. Unlike Western visions of a massive looming figure, El Cucuy was nimble, able to appear suddenly, strike, and vanish. In parts of Mexico, parents still sing lullabies warning that the cucuy is watching, ready to snatch the child who refuses to sleep. In the Philippines, the pugosh, a headless giant, roams abandoned buildings, deserted fields, and lonely banana groves. Despite his grotesque appearance, the pugot does not chase his victims. He waits silently, an immovable reminder that sometimes danger does not need to pursue you. It simply waits for you to make a mistake. In the Caribbean, the jumbies took a different form. The spirits of the dead, angry and vengeful, waiting to possess the living or lure them into the forests where they would vanish forever. African folklore brought its own variations across the Atlantic, reshaping the boogeyman in the New World while preserving his essence, an unrelenting, unseen force tied to disobedience, danger, and darkness. The boogeyman across cultures adapts to the landscape of fear. In agrarian societies, he waits at the edges of the fields. In coastal villages, he drifts on the mist above the water. In mountains, he waits behind the rocks. Wherever humans feel uncertainty, wherever nature or danger lurks just beyond their senses, the boogeyman takes form. His survival is not accidental. In the brutal realities of pre-modern life, fear was not a weakness. It was a survival mechanism. Early humans who responded to vague threats with heightened caution survived longer than those who dismissed danger. This evolutionary bias shaped the stories we told. When real dangers, wild animals, bandits, diseases, lurked beyond the reach of civilization, it made sense to terrify children into staying close, into obeying the elders who understood those dangers firsthand. Historical records show just how deeply these fears ran. In 17th century England, some villages even codified the belief in wandering spirits into local law, warning that children found in certain areas at night would be presumed taken by dark forces. In some cases, grieving parents of missing children would insist that the bogeyman had stolen them, a terrifying belief that sometimes masked harsher realities like human predators or accidents. Folk traditions in Scandinavia mention the mare, a malicious entity responsible for nightmares, suffocating sleepers, and draining vitality. Though linguistically distinct from the boogeyman, the mare shares the same function, an unseen force that attacks the vulnerable, teaching respect for nightfall and the unseen dangers of the world. The Grimm's fairy tales, sanitized over time for children's books, originally contained violent, horrifying punishments for disobedient youth. In early versions, children who wandered were cooked, devoured, imprisoned, or enslaved by monsters, witches, and strange men in the woods. The boogeyman was always just below the surface, even when unnamed. Modern psychology confirms the evolutionary utility of these fears. Young children, by their nature, lack the ability to assess real danger. Abstract threats, like the boogeyman, create healthy boundaries before cognitive reasoning fully matures. Fear, in this case, is not abuse. It is armor, crafted through generations of desperate trial and error. As humanity's dominion over nature expanded, with cities, streetlights, and police forces, the figure of the boogeyman did not vanish. Instead, he adapted. No longer confined to the forest or the mist, he entered the home, the city streets, the dreams of the unwary. Horror films, novels, and urban legends kept him alive. Michael Myers, silent and unstoppable, stalking suburban neighborhoods. Freddy Krueger, an entity violating the sacred safety of sleep itself. Even figures like Slender Man, born from internet forums rather than oral tradition, mirror the archetypal fear, the predatory, inescapable force that targets the innocent. Even today, children's media invokes the boogeyman, often without fully recognizing it. Animated shows, songs, and nursery rhymes create figures hiding under beds, waiting in closets, peering through windows. Though these depictions are softened, the message is preserved. Darkness hides dangers. Stray too far, ignore the warnings, and you may never return. Yet the boogeyman is more than a warning for children. He is also a reflection of adult anxieties. In times of societal collapse, war, plague, or natural disaster, boogeyman figures surge back into prominence. Every time humanity feels powerless against forces it cannot control or understand, stories arise to give those fears a face, even if that face remains hidden in shadow. We see it in the panics of the past. Witch hunts in early modern Europe framed accusations in the language of unseen malevolence. The Red Scare of the 20th century, the fear of infiltration and sabotage, played into the same primal fear of something lurking, unseen, waiting to strike. Though the context changed, the psychological structure remained identical to the fears that once kept medieval children within sight of the firelight. The boogeyman survives because he was never merely a monster. He is a metaphor for uncertainty, for vulnerability, for the reality that control is always fragile and safety is never absolute. In the quiet hours of the night, when the last lights are extinguished, when the air grows still and the world falls silent, modern humans live, for a few moments, in the same world their ancestors inhabited. A world where predators, both real and imagined, move freely through the darkness. In that silence, the ancient part of the brain awakens, the part that does not reason, but only feels, the part that knows that something, somewhere, may be watching. It is easy to mock the boogeyman by daylight, easy to dismiss the stories as primitive, outdated, childish, but when the night falls, when reason falters and instinct rises, the boogeyman returns. Not necessarily as a creature lurking beneath the bed or behind the door, but as the lingering sense that something unseen, something forgotten, still waits in the dark. The boogeyman is not a relic of a barbaric past. He's a living reminder that even at the height of human civilization, fear remains one of our most honest instincts. Fear protects, fear preserves, and fear, once it takes root, never truly dies. When the wind howls across empty streets, when a branch scrapes against the window pane, when the power cuts out and you find yourself alone with the dark, the mind reaches back into memories older than civilization itself. The boogeyman was there before the first fire was lit. He will be there after the last light is extinguished. Not a monster, not a myth, a memory, a truth, waiting. Even in an age of science, technology, and reason, some fears never leave us. The fear of what waits in the dark, the fear of being watched, the fear of stepping too far beyond the safety of the known. The boogeyman is not a relic of the past. He is a reflection of something timeless within us, something we can never fully explain away. He changes names, he changes faces, but the shadow he casts has always been the same, a warning that in every age, every place, there are dangers just beyond our sight, and not all of them are imaginary. If you found this exploration into forgotten folklore meaningful, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to Char TV, and turn on notifications. It helps us reach more people who still believe that some stories are worth remembering, and some fears are worth facing. Thank you for watching, and remember, the dark is never truly empty.